Good evening. Hey, what's up? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals and ConciergeBullion.com in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. Got the live John Pennekamp video up there, and I'm curious, what is that orange glow right there? The sun must be hitting something exactly right, but what a strange looking little critter or thing that is right there. Well, hold on, I got to look at this. I love coral. Again, if you've ever been down to the Keys before, if you live in South Florida and you haven't been there, shame on you. You need to go down there, take the kids or yourself, wife, girlfriend, whatever. Go down there and do a little snorkeling. John Pennekamp is absolutely gorgeous. A little bit of coral going on here, gently waving in the ocean currents there. Little fish down there. Awesome camera. And if you don't live in South Florida, you've never been there, and you do plan a trip down here, man, definitely go down the Keys. It's beautiful. John Pennekamp is a great place to friendly for people that aren't used to snorkeling and diving as well. All right, quote of the day: every gun that is made, every warship launched, and let me spread that page out a little bit there. Every warship launched, every rocket fired signifies in the final sense a theft from those who hunger and are not fed, those who are cold and are not clothed. The world in arms is not spending money alone, it is spending the sweat of its laborers, the genius of its scientists, and the hopes of its children. Interesting quote by Dwight D. Eisenhower, The Chance for Peace, 1953. And Dwight D. Eisenhower is the gentleman that told us all about the military-industrial complex and how that was going to steal from future generations, and it has, and how it's going to steal from future generations, and it has. Take a look at the $40 billion in aid given to the Ukraine government just as recently. Well, anyways, let's not talk about that, but what has that got to do with the price of gold and silver? Well, it has a lot to do with the price of gold and silver. And we'll get into that in a moment as well. Let me clear my throat out here. It's the evening report. Cheers to all out there. A sip of red wine for everyone here. I forget what I got. Pinot Noir. I think that's is that how I say it? Pinot Noir or something like that. That's the wine I got tonight. Yeah, I'm a working class guy, but I have acquired a taste for wine recently, and never been a big beer drinker. All right, let's take a look at the. I want to show you what the markets were on, what is this, Friday, September, yeah, Friday. Last time I updated this page, 1662, 1904, 1862.57 on Friday. Let's take a look. I'm going to refresh this. I kept this page up. I said, no, I'm going to keep it up. I want to show people what a dramatic difference we've seen since Friday's closes. And here we go. 1,700 up 37 bucks, folks. $20.72. Silver being the real winner. I just did the math not too long ago on the gold to silver ratio. 82 and change to 1. It's decreased quite a bit, but gold did. Gold was still sitting around that lower 1,700, even though silver was performing pretty well. But everything across the board has gone up dramatically, including platinum. Look at that. Platinum up $38. Probably the biggest performer out of all those metals, down from 861. And of course, you know, it's just crazy. Who knows what's going on right now? As far as these prices, I still, you know, $1,700. You know, you're going to say, some people are going to say, "Oh, did I miss it? Did I miss it?" The new folks are going to say, "Did I miss buying the buying opportunity?" No. In my humble, honest opinion, even gold at 1,700, silver at $20, and platinum at 900. And I've said this at much higher levels. All these levels are cheap, folks, when you take a look at it as wealth preservation and buying something that you're never going to wake up in the morning and hear it went bankrupt. I mean, just security, mostly security at the very least. But we've all known how rigged these prices are, and at some point, these rig prices couldn't last much longer because of shortages. I think we may have seen or are beginning to see that point with silver, particularly, not so much with gold. I think there's a war on gold right now, and that's going to get heated up as well. And of course, where gold goes, silver follows, but follow through with me. Speaking of follow through, let's take a look at these markets right here. Wow, my throat is really dry. Or is that just a good excuse to take another sip of wine here? Cheers to all my listeners out there, and cheers to well, cheers to all my listeners and everyone else in the world. Cheers to you all. whether we agree or not. We're all human. And Dow Jones, take a look at that. Holy smokes. And this is probably because of the BOE, Bank of England, backing off on quantitative tightening, QT, and raising rates. As everyone knows, the Bank of England did lower, is in the process of lowering rates, forgetting about the extra tax cuts that they were going to give everyone. But no less, here's a result of this: capitulation by the BOE, and assumed capitulation of the Fed as far as raising rates in the future here, and any more tightening that we may see. Now, the BOE is suffering mostly because the Bank of England is no longer buying bonds, no longer supporting a lot of the investments that are holding up a lot of people's pensions and retirements. But I'm not going to get into that. What I am going to say is that the a lot of, I think, this market in the Dow Jones, S&P, and NASDAQ, and gold. Look, gold and silver follow these markets, folks. As much as I'd like to think that the gold and silver markets are disconnected from the equities markets, they have been closely following them for the last couple months. And why? It has nothing to do with the fundamentals of gold, silver, because gold and silver really should be double, triple what they are right now, based on real fundamentals. But they're not, because those markets are extremely manipulated by large commercial traders. And again, I'm going to get into it in a little bit and talk about governments not liking the price of gold. Maybe not so much silver. Silver is a whole different market, but GATA.org talks about how governments have always, or not governments, but governments in collusion with central bankers have always stomped down the price of gold to keep currencies looking good. But that most of you gold bugs and silver bugs out there already know this stuff. But take a look. We have just been following with gold, and where gold goes, silver follows. Gold market has been just following the Dow Jones, S&P, NASDAQ, and the red for the last couple months, and also in the green now as well, it looks. Silver, I think it's sometimes silver in the COMEX markets. Gold is just following these markets right here because big commercial short positions in the COMEX markets, probably the crooked LBMA markets, are driving the price down, gold down, under the premise that QE tightening is really means something, when most of us that are buying physical and the physical markets say completely the opposite. The topsy-turvy world, as I said many times in the past. What is that Superman world where everything's just the opposite? I forgot, but I've used it in my title a couple times in videos. But again, gold up along with the rest of these markets. As far as silver goes, I think this is what we're sitting at. The bear trap is finally set. Ted Butler talks about this and talks about the low prices, and that really, again, folks, do not confuse up and down price. The price is down. It's manipulated, and it is. It's manipulated downward, and that's the reason the price of gold and silver are down, because it's manipulated by the big commercial positions, and it absolutely is. It's manipulated in a couple markets, the LBMA, the COMEX markets, and again, absolutely is. But the whole point of me talking about this is saying, oh, hang on, I got a little bit distracted there. And again, my throat keeps, got an itch in my throat. Maybe it's the drink. Maybe I'm allergic to this one. They drive these markets downward, but they also let them go back up. What is the whole point of driving a market downward if you're not going to let it go back up? And Ted Butler talks about this, is that the commercials have taken the time to kill these markets, drive them down, and accumulate large amounts of physical, just like JP has. JP is probably one of the largest holders of physical gold and silver out there, and they've driven the price down for years and years, manipulated the price of gold and silver down for years, as we are still seeing in the COMEX markets, and gold most recently in the gold market, especially that market getting hammered down by the big commercial shorts. And what they're doing, folks, is they're trying to drive out all those managed money positions out there to capitulate their their gold and silver and turn that gold and silver into physical metal. Why? Because they're going to wait for the metal prices to go back up where, and again, prices are manipulated not only downward, but upward as well. And don't be confused by this. Don't think that just because you see gold and silver do extremely well, that they're still not being manipulated in some way, shape, or manner. But again, silver may be broken. The silver prices may just be broken. And Ted Butler said it best. The bear trap, is it finally set? It very well may be. Well, let's take a look at my conspiracy here as far as gold goes. When it comes to silver, Ted Butler has talked about it for years and decades. It's really been a rinse and repeat of big commercial. God, I get tired of talking about these big commercial dirtbags, banks that do these trades, and the COMEX that allows these trades to happen, the crooked casino COMEX that allows it to happen. But when it comes to the silver markets, that's primarily a rinse and repeat greed factor done by big commercial banks and allowed to happen so long that the CFTC and the COMEX CME group really can't admit that it's happening because they've allowed this manipulation to happen so long in the small silver markets. But when it comes to gold markets are global, man. Gold markets are not just made, it's made in the Asian markets, it's made in, I mean, gold has prices all over the world valued in different types of currency, and as well as the LBMA and as well as the COMEX that we're familiar with. As you notice right here, most of you may be familiar with this. Oh man, Spy versus Spy, Mad Magazine. That is really showing my age. But this is kind of what we got going on right now between the Russians, the Chinese, and more or less the BRIC countries and the United States right now. This is the U.S. dollar against everyone else that is not pro-U.S. dollar. Well, that could be the Europeans. It's kind of a, who are your enemies kind of deal out there. But I believe that there's a war on gold right now, and I believe that there's going to be a continuing war on gold, and I've talked about this for quite some time. We're going to look at an article by VBNL. I think it very talks about this as well. I think you should read. But over the last couple of years, I have said over and over and over that the Russians have building up their gold supply, their central gold supplies, as have been China, as have been the other BRIC countries. They've been building up more and more gold. Why? De-dollarization. I've talked about this for 2 or 3 years. This is nothing recent since the war that's happened over in Ukraine. This is something we've been talking about for quite some time. De-dollarization. The end of an empire, not this U.S. empire, but the dollar empire. The dollar empire, remember, is bigger than the United States Constitution, the U.S. Well, they think so, than the U.S. empire. But the dollar, everything which buys us, everything that buys us food, pays our rent, pays our heat, whatever it may be. But there's a war against gold for many reasons. There has been, according to GAT.org, because of many years ago, I think it was Volcker or somebody that said, or no, Greenspan said that basically gold, the reason central bankers would want to keep the price of gold down because gold is a canary in the coal mine. When the price of gold went up, it means that the dollar was not doing well. And remember, the dollar is the world empire currency. Has been for a long time, slowly not becoming that. And even a bigger reason for the war on gold, because gold is being accumulated, again, by who? Chinese, the Russians, and United States will want to stop that because, again, there's the big war that you see going on, this $40 billion that we're sending over to Ukraine, this money that we're sending over there, really only just to deplete our old weapons, our old 155 millimeter howitzers, our old all our old equipment, the old Russian tanks that were sitting in Europe and about to rust for all those years. Give them to Ukraine. Give them to Ukraine. Let Ukraine fight this war, because this is really a proxy war between the United States and Ukraine. And Europe, to some degree, is kind of get sucked into this in a weird kind of way, because it really is not just between the United States and Russia. This is actually about U.S. dollar dominance. And this is about the U.S. central banks encouraging wars to happen right now. Number one, who is to benefit the most in a war between the United States, Russia, and Europe? Who? The U.S. dollar. Not the people of the United States, but the U.S. dollar is the one to benefit the most from this. So you got to wonder, follow the money. Follow the money. But anyways, I think that these big money central bankers and the people that believe they run the world and probably do to some degree, are going to wage a huge war on gold and silver, particularly gold right now. And again, remember, where gold goes, silver follows. Great article by VBL. Got to hand it to them all the time. I'm going to skip over it and skip to the part that I think would be absolutely correct. Give me 1 second here. Silver, all right, let's just get to the update because that's kind of exciting right there. Silver is up $1.08 this morning with copper down and gold languishing. Gold languishing. Follow with me. Silver's been kept so low for so long that supply fundamentals are finally going to take over and cause the price of silver to go up despite what the collusive commercials have done with their short positions. And maybe not. Maybe it's just time for these big commercial collusive positions have accumulated enough physical gold and silver, whatever it may be in a paper form or physical, that they're going to let the price go up by $5. Hopefully a lot more than that because their rinse and repeat cycles typically been $5. But silver up dramatically because I think of supply and demand issues. Gold not so much. Gold down and languishing only because I believe gold is being held down again by central banks, Bank of International Settlements, and heaviest pressure we've seen on gold in a long time in the COMEX markets. I'm sure the same thing in the LBMA markets. And what VBL talks about here, the FPE is in normal contango. PGMs are firmer, but not a lot by comparison. This is a short covering CTA, and again, that's managed money kind of deal right there, type rally now. It's exactly the type of thing to look for as a trader. The COMEX market is broken. VBL recognizes it. We've recognized it for a long time, and especially now with the price of silver. Let me repeat that one more time. The COMEX market is broken, and man, good. A lot of smart people understand this. And I'm going to say VBL is smarter than me. I've seen it for a long time. It's just nice to see people like that say it. And absent the usual liquidity from sell-side hedgers, when the market does get oversold, it can move quick in a vacuum. Assume this on the back of the Fed pivot talk today. This is what is more interesting to me. Gold and silver comments. Davos is coming. All right. Regarding gold and silver, specifically stock shares, Josh Crum posted this Friday. Another sip here for me. Heard something disconcerting this evening from a good source. Apparently, G7 morality police about to rain the propaganda down hard on gold. Owning gold and gold mining companies in the name of ESGs, that's some kind of environmental bullshit, and energy use. Apparently, the message from an already high working into BlackRock et al. Anyways, according to this person right here, and it seems like our friend VBL has a good confidence that this person may be telling the truth, or not may be telling the truth, but may be onto something here. And they're saying that there is going to be a crackdown on gold and silver, especially the mining. Again, they don't want the price of gold to go up. They want to own this stuff. Let me read a little bit further. Wonderful, again, write-up by VBL on this. Little clap there. I hope you can hear my clap, BBL, if you're listening, or and everyone else out there. He deserves it. Now, here's what he says. Normally, it's smart to take non-falsifiable claims with a shaker of salt. He's talking about that tweet. But we know that Josh's work in metals and crypto further. So he's, VBL saying he kind of knows this guy's in metals and cryptos, and that the guy's been probably pretty much right so far. So let's take that with a grain of salt here. Further, or a couple grains of salt here. The guy has some credibility, according to VBL. Further, his comment fits into something studied since 2016, namely, how would either China or the West confiscate gold? Well, absent taking the gold itself, if they had to. Josh's tweet, according to VBL, may have just told us how. Worse, it fits the behavioral matrix study from the previous interventions in gold since 1971 and silver. Remember JPM's overnight sell for EU silver miners. Very smart, dude. Oil and Bitcoin rehypothecation and anything else that serves as an obstacle to Davis' goals of retooling Western energy use and keeping monetary dominance. This time, silver dropped over 20% off of, 10.2% off of 8-year highs. We think that the current energy crisis is declared or solved. Well, anyways, I thought this was very interesting right up here. And what he's talking about is, I believe that there is going to be a war on gold because Western central banks are want to accumulate it and punish Russia on this. Let's see how that pans out. Meanwhile, even if they do, folks, buy the frickin' dip, stick it up their asses if they drive the price of gold down manipulatively for their own greedy ass or political reasons, and they're greedy as well. Buy the dips as much as you can with gold and silver. Buy the dips. I'm not sure we're going to see many dips in silver, but I've said that before. So, and never underestimate these freaking crooks in the COMEX markets. Well, let's take a look at yesterday's video. And by the way, folks, premiums are still high on all this stuff. As you know, I advertise to beat APMEX, JM Bullion, SD Bullion, and Miles Franklin. And these are all great companies that I respect very highly. Whether you're buying a small amount, whether you're buying a large amount, I can beat these companies with Commercial Rare Coins and ConciergeBullion.com. I'll give you the information on them in the latter part of the video. Meanwhile, let's take a look at Friday's video, which was double, triple gold, silver prices soon. And what I was talking about is that, and you can see a question mark and exclamation point. And remind you, I've got to get viewers here too. So anyone that says I'm doing clickbait, to some degree, yes, because you won't get viewers unless you provide an appealing title. But you had better damn well talk about that title in some degree in your videos. And I did on Friday's video. I talked about how gold and silver should be double and triple if we were looking at real fundamentals. And when it comes to silver, fundamentals may be coming into play pretty soon with supply and demand factors, with the bullshit price of silver being screwed with for so many decades by these crooks in the COMEX markets, that physical supply and demand are going to bite them in the ass if it isn't already. And that's why we may see higher prices, and probably seeing higher prices right now. On the other hand, it's probably, no, you know why we're seeing higher prices? I got to keep reminding myself this. It's because they haven't shorted these markets yet. And when are they going to short them? We don't know. But you have to have something to short with, and if you don't have the product, even if you've got it leveraged 100 to 1, you can't keep causing the price to go down. But anyways, double, triple silver, I was talking about, it really should be that if the fundamentals were truly at play. Close your eyes, because this makes me dizzy when I do this. I'm going to go and answer some comments here. I usually start at the bottom here, the oldest comments first, work my way up to the newest comments. Oh my gosh. Okay, I went a little too far. A lot of dead space down there. I use that for advertising. Hal Brooks asked me, big question mark behind the clickbait title. Gosh damn, what a coincidence. I just answered that, Hal. The reason is because it really wasn't clickbait. I'm talking about it in my video that we're discussing right now. This is a comment. These are comments from Friday's videos. And I discuss how gold and silver really should be double and triple if we were using any kind of real fundamentals when it comes to supply and demand, that kind of thing. But as you know, we are not living in the real world, but silver, again, I think when supply starts getting super tight, it's going to screw up their crooked paper markets. Thanks for watching, Hal. I appreciate the comment, even though you did kind of say I had a clickbait title. I got to agree with you to some degree. You got to make clickable titles here. But again, you can't just... How many videos have you clicked on where it talks about something, the video title says something that is not even mentioned in the video? You know, so... Hey, Jeremy, what's up? Still no power? Good from Lakeland. Oh, sorry to hear that. Yeah, we went through that too. You guys kind of got a piece of that storm. Hopefully they got you up and running pretty quick. FPNL's done a good job here in South Florida so far, I think. Anyway, get your power on. Hope it's on pretty soon. And glad it's been cool, because it has been cool the last few evenings. JTBSK2, keep stacking physical metals. Absolutely. Roger Darnell Sr. says, I'm glad you're doing well after the hurricane. You too. Appreciate it. And thanks for staying, ask me. Advising I stay safe. I did. Rasputin says, Secret got to fish where the fish are. Yeah. Man, you must be a fisherman, because that's absolutely true. And fishing where the fish are, you got to know where the fish are. And that's always the big thing, is knowing where the fish are. Something I've been learning a long time, but man, it is still fished out in here in South Florida. We got a lot of people out there just fished out these reefs. Thanks for commenting, Rasputin. Nice to see another fisherman out there. Walton Lyon says, I think I'll hold on to my Silver Eagle, but silver goes to $200 an ounce, and my ounce American silver gets me the same as a silver round, I'm still up big time. Yeah, but think about this. If you have 100 silver eagles right now, okay, and you can sell them for $8 more, what is 1 times 800? I mean, 1 times 8. I think it's more than $8 now. What is 1 times 8? It's $800. Now, if you're going to buy 100 ounces of silver and you can get kilo bars for like 3 1/4 over, you're making $7 an ounce on that. So that's $700. So theoretically, you could turn in your silver eagles right now and get $700 worth more of silver, which is about a kilo, another 32 ounces of silver. So you could trade your silver eagles right now and easily, 100 silver eagles right now, and easily get 32 more ounces of silver if you get kilo bars. And when silver goes up to $200 an ounce, you're going to wish, what's 32 times 200, sir? All right, $6,400. You're going to have $6,400 in your pocket. I did the math right. Yeah, I did. $6,400 versus what? Nothing more. All right. Anyways, hope you got my point there. And there's nothing wrong with silver eagles. I love them, but a great opportunity right now to cash them in for more silver. And premiums are sucky on all that stuff. Very true, but who cares? The price of silver and gold are artificially low and artificially high. Artificial in general. But where else can you buy a real product on sale like this, like it's been for a long time? Stacking preps this week, Berkey water filter and ThyroSafe just in case. I think a silver smash unwind erodes, so holding off on silver purchases. Interesting. It's possible we could see a silver smash. It is. There's never underestimate these crooks here. And you're right, Stephen W. See what happens. Meanwhile, even if it doesn't smash, price is cheap right now still, in my opinion. I think down the road, even if you bought it $17 an ounce, $18 an ounce, 22, 23, $30 an ounce, you're not going to regret it. Ernest Bureau says yes, but still against the law. Why the hell is DOJ? Yeah, I know, crooked bastards. I know, I agree with you. Thanks for watching, Ernest. I feel the same way as you do. Coin collecting fun. What's up? Crush that like button and subscribe, folks. Coin collecting fun did, and I really appreciate that. Coin collecting fun. Thanks a lot, and I appreciate. Again, can't say that enough times to you folks out there that have subscribed and hit that like button and comment out there. I really do appreciate every single one of you. Linda Compton says, and again, thanks, Coin Collecting Fund. I think you're spot on today. I love hearing about whatever goes on your area because it's not my area. I feel the same way about your area, Linda. Talk about your area. Hey, I'll watch your video. Thanks, sir. I appreciate that. Longtime commenter Linda Compton. Wildcat 7 today is 420. 420 pay for silver ounces. Yes, I do know what that means. I'm old enough to know what that means. Only at physical metals for the win. Absolutely, Wildcat. Ask your governor his opinion about the crime of Norwich. I don't know. But all these markets are freaking crooked, Nuki. Hey, new name too, pretty cool. Thanks for watching and commenting. Coach Alpha Elite says, do you think I'd pick up some beachfront property in Fort Myers? Oh, yeah. In reality, yeah. It's pretty sad though, but I think at some point you probably could. But the problem with that is that I think the building codes, whenever you see big hurricanes go through these old areas and take out these older structures, the new codes are so substantially higher, insurance rates are so much higher, that it does become cost prohibitive to build on these lots. Not to mention that they oftentimes, more rules and more regulations as well. Thanks for that comment, Coach. Kind of a good question, even though I think it was kind of meant in jest. Rhodium, don't know anything about it, Kevin. Beware at your own risk. Interesting metal. Seems to be mostly industrial, but no less. Pretty rare stuff. Daryl Luck says, if you're not fending off depression these days, you're not paying attention. Can't argue with that. Tough not to be depressed when you read the news, and you got to read the news because if you don't play, you can't win. And anyway, I listen every day. Coos Maniac. Oh, when you say Black Swan with many deaths would be good for gold, a lot of deaths even better. Interesting. Black Swan events, yeah, they are good for the price of gold. They are good for the price of silver. For the most part, a giant gold meteorite landing in the United States in the middle of the country and killing 1 million people wouldn't be good for the price of gold for a couple reasons. It killed a lot of people and be a lot of gold sitting around. But in most scenarios, Remember, gold's been around for 5,000 years. It will outlive empires, currencies, corporations, central banks, you name it. It will outlive them. Gold and silver will. Thanks for watching, Sep. I appreciate that. Zach says, a billionaire just bought 900,000 silver eagles and a bunch of eagles totaling $50 million, not caring about the premiums because they're connected, and say that the government has plans to confiscate gold or silver that isn't American made or made. I can't remember their exact connection, but it was she is letting me know that Bick's weird. And Andy Sheckman, Andy did the deal. Yeah, I heard about that. I read about that. Admirable deal, but still, I would not put that person into any types of products that had that kind of premium, especially if you're a multi-millionaire, billionaire. You need to be buying 1,000-ounce bars and taking delivery in the COMEX markets, especially. That'll put pressure on everything and get you your net ounces, because you don't need high premium ounces when you got that kind of money. Thanks for watching, Zach. Man, I need a billionaire come in to get me to place orders for gold and silver with them, because I tell you, I know exactly what I would do. I'd save a lot of money and make myself a little bit extra money doing it. And they would appreciate it and thank me and even tip me probably. Thanks, Zach. I appreciate that. Ministry of Metals. They're buying eagles because they believe they are most recognized silver coins, and small denominations are bought because they see what's coming. Silver eagles and junk silver are recognized by who? No, any good precious metal dealer recognizes all the products. I don't care what it is, whether bars, grease bars that were made by the government in the 70s, 1,000-ounce bars, you name it. Whoever you'll be likely selling your gold and silver to will recognize these products. If anyone thinks that they're going to be trading 90% in silver eagles to the general public, or the Joe Bread guy, or Joe Gas guy, or Joe Chicken guy, or Joe Fix My Sink guy, as a means of barter in an apocalypse scenario, they're living in a fantasy world, because 98 or 99% of the public out there doesn't have a clue what a real gold or silver coin looks like, regardless of what form it is. All right, willing to debate anybody on that. Thank you, Ministry of Metals, for bringing that up. I just want to let you know why that's not true. Smaller denominations for barter are never going to happen. Never going to happen. Not in my lifetime, at least. Probably not in future lifetimes as well. John Gordon says, here's something gold are no way, not national. Now the comics aren't going to like that. Absolutely true, John. Appreciate your commenting there. The silver rate is happening today. Buy, buy, buy. You go, Wall Street silver raiders. Love the enthusiasm out there. The U.S. government has suppressed the price of gold since confiscated. Absolutely true. Why would the U.S. government have any incentive to suppress gold and suppress the price of gold to a lesser degree? Is effectively a report card of the U.S. dollar economy and government. If you want to pause and read that, Journeyman, who has Bruce Lee, you got it. Got it perfectly. You got me on that one, sir. Good deal there. You didn't get me, but you were on the same page. BKD, SOG. No, I put my complete faith in Yahusha. Okay, me too. How's that? I'll put my faith in whoever has faith in mankind, peace, and enjoying our lives. Brian Ribble, welcome, dude. Appreciate you showing up there. Welco Services, what's up? Agree with you 100% there. Tree Climber, good point in war zone, no exit, but tactical new war can start with the first missile. Interesting subject here. I'm not going to get into, but I think you get some point there. And I think a total loss, and I have to trade my initial. This has got to be a scammer. Nice. Don't go my. Yeah, this is a scammer. Let me hit the delete button on that. Remove. Another Bitcoin scammer. We could all use a triple up. We'll fix this so you don't think it can be affected. No one on the beaches. Maybe. Yeah. I don't think so. No. Because we'll fix the beaches here are just freaking quiet. Not because of the hurricane at all. It's been quiet for a while. Just because there are no European, Canadian tourists. There's something really bad going on in the economy, and we're seeing it in the Florida tourism market here, which was really hot last year and this year, taking a giant shit. Nothing to do with the hurricane, though. Thanks, Brian. I'm glad it picks you up, Clinton DeMoss. I appreciate that. It's nice to be a pickup for people. And Tyler, I love that movie, Fight Club. I thought it was great. I thought it especially great when the end goal was just to blow up all the banks that had computers that held everyone's mortgage in the entire country, maybe in the entire world. They blew up all the mortgages. Imagine that. If you were going to be an anarchist and blow up everything, what would you do? What would you do if you wanted to serve everybody? You'd blow up every record of every mortgage out there. Hard copy, computerized copy, and then everybody's property would be free and cleared as long as they lived there. Isn't that kind of cool? I love that idea. That's an anarchy. That's kind of an anarchist thought of mine. But I guess if you're going to blow up the system, who would you blow up? Blow up the mortgage companies so that everyone gets their house for free at the very least. I never got into platinum way back. I'm just an old gold silver man. But if ever, I think platinum is just so unloved, Silas. I think it's probably a good deal. I appreciate your commenting there. Akeisha, shiny shit, is that a technical term? Yes, it is, by the way. It is a technical term that I actually created. Shiny shit. It encompasses anything that is eye appealing, that people want to pay extra money because it has eye appeal. That's what I call shiny shit when it comes to precious metals. Anyway, I'm glad you asked me. Appreciate that. Let's see, who buys has locked there? The cash flow thing are part of blooming idiots. Exactly true. Well, that's it, folks. Monday night's video. This is Brian Kuzmar saying, think for yourself, question authority, and most of all, first question yourself, and then it becomes much easier to question others, including especially authority. Well, meanwhile, if you're interested in buying gold, silver, platinum, and you live outside the state of Florida and you're you're buying more than 100 ounces of gold, buying more than 2,500 ounces of silver, call us at conciergebullion.com or just go to conciergebullion.com and fill out the form below here. We do shipping and we do business over the phone. There's our phone number right there. And give us a call anytime. Again, if you're buying over 100 ounces of gold anywhere in the continental U.S. and over 2,500 ounces of silver. And if you live in the state of Florida and you're buying any amount of gold and silver and platinum, come by and see us at Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals. This is our brick and mortar. We're open 10 to 4 Mondays through Fridays. And come by anytime. We advertise to be ATMEX, JM, SD Bullion. And as I said, the premiums are still quite high. Product availability is even getting longer out there as far as what's available. But I do have some great product available right now at cheaper prices, again, than ATMEX, SD Bullion, JM Bullion, and Miles Franklin. All companies I respect, but I'm a highly competitive guy, so I want to beat their prices and get their business. Are you going to give it to me? I hope so. Hey, thanks for watching. Have a great evening, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye now. Big shout out to all you Wall Street silver guys too as well. Keep stacking, man. Ooh, 84. Beautiful. I got to get out of the house more. Good night.